a word of prayer before Aunty Leonie comes. Let's pray. Father, thank you again for this, another opportunity to come like this, oh God. Lord, even though many of us are apart, not as how we used to be, but Lord, we thank you that we can still meet like this, oh God. Lord, I pray for Aunty Leonie, Lord, that as she shares, oh God, Lord, that we'll be able to understand and we'll be able to grasp what she's sharing with us tonight, oh God. Bless her as she shares. Bless each and everyone that is on Zoom here, wherever they are, that bless them, keep them for Christ, and we pray. Amen. All right, so we now welcome Aunty Leonie, and you can go over to our YouTube channel, or YouTube, Maranatha's Gospel YouTube page, and see the stream live. So remember, if you have a question, raise your hand or type it in the chat, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's enough from me.
All right, hi everybody. Hi everybody in YouTube land and everybody at home and elsewhere. All right, everybody. So, boy, this feels kind of weird. But anyways, this is what we have come to. Just a few persons and COVID has put us in a position. But guess what? We are still bigger than COVID because we trust in a mighty God. And the Lord has indeed provided a way for us to meet nonetheless. So guess what? COVID get a blow again. All right? And so even at this time when a lot of persons are at home and some persons are not working and some persons have lost their jobs, there are still some persons who are moving about. There are still jobs that are available. I look in the Sunday Gleaner, I see a lot of jobs available just the same. Things are still happening. We don't need to lose hope. School is still going on, even though it is online, but you're still learning. You, as a matter of fact, this is an opportunity for us to employ skills and to learn new skills. And so this evening, we are going to be looking at how to get employed. What is it we need to do? How we need to present our resumes and, line up ourselves to get land that dream job. So, to start, how do we begin? And so as children of God, as people of God, one of the first things we need to do is we need to seek God's face. We need to ask the Lord, Father, what is it you have me to do? Lord, I need a job. Lord, give me direction. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not onto your own understanding, but in not some, not one, not two, not three, but in all your ways, acknowledge God, and he will certainly, is not if he'll do it, he will, he shall. And the lawyers will tell you that the word shall is a very powerful word. It means must. So he will, he has committed to directing our path. And that's the first thing to do. Let me introduce myself and just some credentials. So I have been in HR for quite a number of years. Started off as a secretary to the HRD manager. That's many years ago. I know a lot of you won't sit down there kind of calculating my age, but right. So many years ago. And then I moved on to be a personnel officer. And then a HR and administrative officer. And then moved on to be the director of HR and administration. So I really have been dealing with people quite a lot and have had to be in the position of employing persons and the likes, not the other things. We won't talk about other things today. We'll talk about hiring people. All right, so one of the first things that we do is we need to craft a resume Once we find out of the job opportunity, we need to look carefully at the job opportunity, right? We need to look, what is it that the person wants? What is it that this employer is looking for? Okay. All right. So one slide came before the other one. So what is it that employers are looking for? So one of the first things that we need to point out is that, let me tell you something. Employers get a lot of resumes. They get a lot of CVs. They get tons. And some employers, they are linked to, for example, particular websites that CVs are uploaded every day. And so they are flooded. They are bombarded with them. So employers really don't have a lot of time to go through your resumes, really. So the research says that employers spend a very, very short time, 7.4 seconds, looking at your resume. So really and truly, 7.4 seconds. Anybody can count to 7? Quickly? All right. So it means that they really don't have a lot of time to spare. They really just want to get to the point. They really are looking for certain things, and if the things don't jump out at them, your resume is going to, get shelved.
I have a question.
Or trashed.
So what if what you're looking for is at the bottom of the resume? Not necessarily at the bottom, but not at the top, that it will jump at you. How do you guys go about doing that?
So, exactly. So we're going to go there. So, before we even jump into that, employers are looking for how you can help them save money, how you can help them to be more efficient at what they do, right? Some of the skills that they want are critical thinking skills and problem solving skills. Nobody wants you in a place and give them more problem, right?
Yeah.
So you must be able to help them solve a problem, right? Is it that they want to get the cost down? And most times, to get the cost down or to increase their profit or to make sure they're, as I had said before, very efficient at what it is that they are in the business of doing. So if it is that they're selling cars, how can you help them to be more efficient at selling cars? What are the skills that you're bringing to the team, right? What are the skills? What are some of the soft skills? What are some of the skills that you would have learned? So they are looking for things. Are you a team player, or are you somebody that is just, it's all about me and what I can achieve? And it's all about you. You're going to be stepping on somebody, or you're going to be pushing somebody aside. You're not going to be working as a team. You're not going to be playing as a team. So the team gets a project and you're not pulling your weight. All right. And they want people who are very honest. So once we see the job opportunity, once we know what it is the employer is looking for, the skills that the employer is looking for. And let me tell you something, it's very, 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 very important that you study that advertisement that you see in the paper. If it is that you're interested in it, look at it, go over it over and over. What is it that they're looking for? Look at the keywords, right? They'll probably say ability to solve problems. Look at that and try to make sure that you match it back with the skills that you have. If you don't possess those skills, see a job that has some skills, or work on those areas until you know that, fine, I'm ready for this, right? So study it. What are the... All right, so in terms of presenting your resume, the resume is supposed to be easy to read, and that is gone. It should be clear, simple, very simple, just to the point, right? Clearly marked with headlines and headers. Bold job titles. So what is it you used to do in your previous job? You're going to make sure it's bold. And guess what? You're going to put the accomplishments and you're going to bullet them. You don't need to write an epistle on each of them. I used to do this and I used to do that. No, you're going to also summarize the objectives. What is it I want to do? Or I am so and so, and I possess this skill, and I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z for your organization. All right. Use the words, as I had said before, study the advertisement, use back the words that appear in the job description in the appropriate places. So, ability to for example, I'm able to deal with clients in a way that will make them want to come back, right? You're going to put those skills up front, and you're going to make sure you put those in bold. Your resume shouldn't be very long, as I indicated, 1 or 2 pages, and it's about the quality. Make sure your margins look, even, left, right, and ensure, for heaven's sake, proofread. I can't overemphasize that. You have to proofread it. You cannot the spelling has to be in tip-top shape. You cannot send out something that you have poor spelling. That is a turn off, and people will look at it and people will say, my God, and they'll criticize it, and they'll say, what is this person? What level of education is this person? I tell you, some of the things that when they come to the desk and you look at them, you're asking, did somebody review this resume for her?
So you ask that, Aunty Leonie?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh.
I must confess. And sometimes I'm like, what happened? This person didn't read it? And then it's not me one looking. And then you have somebody else who look at it as pocket.
So, Aunty Leonie, so for those persons who don't have spelling errors, do you guys not call them in for an interview, or you still call them just to see?
No, you don't call them if you have several others on your table that have correct spelling and everything.
Okay.
You certainly will put that one aside because there are certainly others that are better. Right? So make sure the proofreading, spell checking is so very important. Mm-hmm. So what are the contents of the resume? You're going to have contact information. So there's your name at the top, your telephone number, your email address. Some people say you can put your LinkedIn information, etc. Then there is that summary, right? A brief 2 to 4 sentence summary of your work experience or the objectives for applying for the post.
Yeah. Aunty Leonie, I have another question. What if you are actually not experienced, but this would be your first time experiencing something like that?
And I know a lot of persons are going to ask that question. So where we have experience, it says to place emphasis on your top 3 achievements. So what it is, suppose you had a project working on, what it is that you had achieved. And that's before I get to you now without the work experience, right? So for persons with the work experience, what are your top 3 achievements? Was I able to meet my objectives? Was I able to help the company to save some money? You need to put that there, right? So while you're listing the job, you try to use what they say is you try to use some metrics, some figures. So I help to reduce by helping to turn off the light and being the conserve electricity. I noted that the electricity bill went down. You help to save for your employer. And there are some people who really don't care, right? Because listen, them not pay me. I come here for do this. I'm not come here for walk and turn off lights. Right? But no. So, and I'm putting it as simple as I can. Right? For some of us now who say that we really don't have the experience, it is very good. It is very important for you to really get yourselves involved in projects, in group meetings, etc. There are some things that you think, because it's not that I was getting paid for this job, it doesn't matter. It really does.
So that would be like volunteering. So
volunteer, exactly. Okay. Right. So you can volunteer. You can, for example, you could have easily led a team at school. You were the leader of a group project. So we mustn't take these things very lightly. Yes, you're young people, but you have positions of leadership. Make sure you put that on your resume as well. I was the leader of the young people's group. I helped to organize this. I helped to organize that. I was part of a sports committee at wherever, whether it's school, church, and etc. What it is that you did, what it is that you helped to achieve. Remember those, because some persons are thinking, but I never work in my life. So, I mean, how am I going to get these skills? But it's very important to learn from. No, you can put those skills on the paper. We have had to interview persons coming straight out of high school. And those are some of the things we look for. And we'll say to them, we want to find out their team, whether they possess team skills, right? And so we ask them, so, you know, have you ever been as a part of a group? Have you ever, you know, what role did you play in the group? Were you the leader? What it is you had to do? So, and I'll come to it later. And so we'll ask them questions about being a part of a group. So don't think that because, you know, I'm just coming out of school, so really I don't have nothing to tell these people. No, you do. And you have to take all those projects that you have and you have gotten involved in. All of those things matter. Because remember, you really don't have the job experience per se, but people are looking for certain skills. They're looking for certain soft skills as well. Empathy. Do you listen well? Are you just very mouthy and you don't give anybody a chance? That kind of thing. So those things will come out. All right, so my slides are kind of over the place. Where we have the skills section, you highlight your strengths. What are some of the strengths? And as I had indicated, what are some of the achievements, right, in the particular role that you had? You're also going to list your education history, right? You're going to talk about what you have achieved, the certification, if it's a BSc, some people don't bother to put the high school information, but you can still put those as well, because there are some things that will tell the employer. And again, there's another section that you can put your other involvements, like your hobbies, your volunteering on different, things that you're not doing at work, and projects that you're involved in, and just highlight those skills that you think would benefit that employer. But please keep in mind the skills that the particular job requires, because you can't tell them, say, well, I sing very well, but that's not what I'm asking you to do, right? So pay keen attention to whatever skills the job require. All right? Sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
I was asking, due to this whole COVID strain thing, due to this whole COVID strain issue, some schools won't be able to give out certificates and diplomas and such. Would it be possible to put education as would it be possible to put in your transcript as a form of the education that you did instead of the diplomas and things?
You need to still mention it, that you have achieved XYZ, and then the employer will tell you at that point. I mean, usually they go through the process, and if it is that they're going to employ you, then they'll require those things. So those will come in at that point, okay. Right? But still mention it. I tried to put a sample for you to see how you set up a resume. And as I said, you just want, I'm sorry, you won't be able to see this so clearly, but it really shows you what I had mentioned before about putting your information at the top, your personal information. You put a summary of the objectives. You put your professional skills, experience, and there are other personal projects. We call them hobbies or other things that you think will enhance your being the right fit for the job, because that's what the employer wants. Now, on to the interview. Are there any questions? Don't know anybody with any questions? In the chat? No? Everybody clear? Okay, all right. So now we're on to the interview. And notice I have prepare, and prepare. And I can't get tired of saying prepare. We have had interviews where it is so obvious you can easily differentiate those who didn't prepare from those who prepared. And immediately, as you see the person who comes in and them don't even know a thing about the organization. So, okay, so can you tell me? And you ask them about the organization and they're like, So you ask them, you literally, you never researched? And they're like, no. You must know about the organization that you plan to go and work with. Duh. You have to. So you're going to have to do your research, right? One, you're going to make sure that you're familiar with the position that you're applying for because the questions will come. So tell me, why did you apply for this position? And then sometimes you hear somebody says, it's my friend tell me about it and tell me that I must apply and I just send him a resume. Wow. That can work, all right? So you really must want this job. And so you become familiar with the position because you're going to be asked about the position and ask questions like, so what if so-and-so, how would you deal with that? So you have to know what is it that is this position is asking me to do? What are some of the things that I'm going to be asked to do in this position? So make sure you're familiar with it because at the interview, you're going to be asked. And you have to pretend that you're in the role because they're going to ask you. And some persons will definitely give you scenarios and you will have to respond to them and they know what they're looking for. So as I said, you must do research on the organization. Check if they have a vision statement. How about that? Check if you have a mission, if they have a mission statement. So this sort of gives you an idea of the culture and it allows you to prepare for the questions that they'll ask you about their organization. And it will prepare you for the questions that you should be asking them and you really should be asking them. And then one of the other things you have to do is practice answering questions. There are so many questions you can get even from off the internet to help to prepare you for the job, right? So practice as many questions as possible and also prepare to ask them questions as well. Now, things that will guarantee failure. I think I needed this on the slide, but not doing your research. You might have the skills to do the job, but do you know how the company operates? Do you know anything about the company? No? Right? Another thing is turning up late, merciful. You don't matter on the job. Turning up late for the interview, you're going to be in trouble. Lying on your resume, they'll pick that up. Dressing inappropriately. All right, go on, Clive.
So how do they know?
Okay. They may not necessarily pick up instantly, but there are times when we can look at your resume and something just doesn't add up. You can, for example, I'm trying to find an example. You say one thing in this line, but by the time you get to the next line, it is saying something else.
Also, if from a scale I put that, I am a team player. And in the next section, you don't say nothing about team players. It's something about hardworking or...
No, that not necessarily. Exactly. The number of years, and then when you look, you see something else 2 months. When you check up this job, you say, but hold on, what's going on right here? So we have actually gone through, because people skim through all of it, they go through the resumes, and especially the ones that you select, you still now have to go and do a further review just to make sure. All right? Poor body language. Listen, if you don't look confident, about going to people in place, because they want to make sure that you are quite confident about what you want to do. I don't want to tell you to fake it, but you just, if it's even to appear confident, you can't go there. And the people them say, I come them say, which one here? This one not like, and they just come in, hi miss, morning. And them just look like them, somebody just whip and drag them out of the house. That's a good interview there. Right? Okay. Right. And as I said, dressing inappropriately. If you dress inappropriate, no, there was somebody who came for an interview, and I'm telling you, it was a kind of middle post, like it was an accounting officer. And I'm telling you, I'm sure it's somebody wake her up, or she was sleepwalking. And she just walk and come out the ear no comb. And she just come and she drag on one little flat shoes, look like the one on my foot. Well, sorry, the rest of you all can see my shoes. But, right, and she just drag it on, and she just haul herself and she come. And I'm saying, you really didn't look in the mirror. Nobody never tell you anything, you never tell them where you was going. You have to look appropriate. The hair can't be looking unkempt. And I mean, it's all over the place. Even for the males, the hair needs to be properly combed, all right? And another thing too is when you don't answer clearly. So somebody asks you a question and you really don't know the answer, so you just no, listen, the people want to hear what you're saying. Then you have the other extreme where we had an interview one time and we had to beg the person we literally beg them to stop. They were just going on and 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 on, and we got tired and so we were even afraid to ask the next question, and we really didn't bother to ask because they were just going on and on and on non-stop. I said, but hold on, what going right to so? Didn't even bother to go any further because it was about 2 or 3 questions like that, and they went on, and all that they were saying did not relate to what we were asking. The answer part, and then just went on talking. Because of a fact, persons get nervous, and sometimes they just talk. But not thinking that whatever it is you're saying, make sure you are answering the question. So if you answer the question in 2 sentences, it's not so bad. But once you make sure that you're answering and you're confident about what you're confident to the point that you can handle a follow-up question. Because generally speaking, sometimes what happens, what you say is going to elicit another question. So be prepared, right? Speaking negatively about your current or your former employer. Miss, they were so cruel, miss. I worked overtime. I worked on a Saturday. Miss, they didn't pay me. They don't pay overtime, miss. And miss, the boss I had, he was so uncaring. They never even cared about you. You were working late. They never even offered you supper and all of that, miss. They were so... When you're done with the boss, everybody, you forget, say, we could be your boss. And so you just go and talk, and you burn the bridge, and we just say, same thing you come do after you left, and so you go talk. So you have to be very careful, and because you went to leave somewhere, don't mean say you go somewhere else go talk. And sometimes people know people. And the place where you have batteration, I probably know somebody from there. So, you have to be very, very careful. And another thing is that you can't just sit down like dummy and ask no question. So when it's your turn, at the end of the interview, we say, okay, do you have any questions for us? That is a question. So you need to know. And some it tells you, what it tells you is whether you're really interested in this job, whether you really just come to find out something, whether you really want to work for this organization, because sometimes the questions, when you get the questions, you know that this person was doing some research, or this person really is interested in this job, or they know something about the job. You're not going to ask them no. So how much vacation leave you give? How much leave you give a year? You give departmental leave too, please, miss? Bonus. You give bonus? So you don't ask those questions, right? I mean, if the matter of salary comes up, then you can say something, right? But the whole heap of miss water, you can ask about the benefits too. But to go and dwell on the holiday and them something there means that you just want to come and just go and go get some rest. Yeah. You understand? So you really can't. All right. So, and some people also talk about, so miss, how often do you grant raise in salary? People do ask those questions. People, believe it or not, people do ask those questions. All right. And trust me, I don't want, but I have to confess it, but you really laugh sometime when you talk. I mean, somebody, oh, another thing you shouldn't do, your phone should not be on. What's happening? Oh. You know, the thing, not for. Oh, everybody's saying which page you YouTube or the PowerPoint.
No, ask if everybody has seen.
Are you all seeing? Are you seeing the screen?
Yes, but there's a black thing on it.
But there is something on it.
It's gone now. We can see. Well, it's not gone, but we can see what's on it.
Okay. All right, just a moment. We're trying to sort out something. All right, so the interview. As I said before, arrive early. Try to get there at least 15 minutes before. Dress and act professionally. Your hair should be well groomed. I can't emphasize that enough. You really should look well groomed. Even if you come at the interview, you really want to create an impression. So you really have to comb the head and make sure so the face look, you know. I'm not telling you to put on any makeup. You don't have to, please. But you just need to make it look presentable. All right? You're not going to wear any blouse that your belly going to be showing. Or that you can't even raise your hand to hold up the handbag, because by the time you go and lift up the handbag, the whole of your show. Right? And for the men, and I wanted to have put in some of the pictures in there so that you could see, but I'll just describe it. So your pants mustn't be so tight that you can only walk up the people them stairs if you have to go climb the stairs. Right? And also for the ladies, the pants can't so tight that everybody see what God did bless you with. Right? And it is, you understand me when I mean, yeah, it's so tight. Right? Or the men, you seen your brief, part tight or sure. You know? We're not interested in seeing the color of your brief and them something there. Right? Not interested. So it's very important. I know that this is kind of a tricky one, but some people do ask. So miss, do I, as a man, do I wear my earring? It all depends. If you do your research on the organization, you will know whether or not you should. Because remember, you know, you want to land a job. So you have to do everything. So if you research and you feel like this is an organization,
Yeah. Hello, are you guys hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, we're hearing.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
No, all right. Go back to your slide.
All right, so that you can see, it's still a fight, you know. This is the enemy and you keep talking, James 4:7. All right, so I did interview. All right, so I did interview, let me go quickly. Mind your manners, be polite, smile, and guess what? Wait to be told that you can have a seat. All right? Go. Because God other people in the room and just block them. Just wait. Hi, good afternoon, etc. But the people will be sitting in the room waiting and somebody has part to do. All right? Answer the questions asked. Ensure that you showcase the skill in your answers and be prepared all the follow questions from the answers that you provide and choose real life examples. Remember, the employers are interested in finding the best fit for the job. They have a qualified fit for the job. So to bring it up to us, we're just going to look at about 3-4 questions and how to answer. So one of the questions, the first question is, you John, tell me about yourself. Who is Vanessa? Yeah, who is Vanessa? Well, you know, I am so glad and Vanessa. I went to Mark before. I used to go to high school. I like my favorite dish. What is that? Rice and peas. I like to play ball. You know, non-skills and get ready to non-skills, you know, we're anything. I have worked at a home for the last 5 years, so I'm going to keep my tables, skills, and balance sheet, and home, or you know, that's what you want to hear. What is it? Do I have experience and what to do? We don't really want to know. You know, we want to our channel, or we don't who want to share your home. Next. All right, next question. So, why should we hire you? Or why are you interested in positions? And let me tell you. All the influencers, this is very promotion. This is what your skills. Obviously, much of this position. So you have to be sure you craft the answer in a way that you will bring out what is it that they are looking for. All right? So give me your life situations. You know, in my role as a doctor, I had to care for patients. I had to, you know, make them understand that I can feel as though I'm feeling pain. And something about it. Right? So I had to do whatever you give a result, right? You're going to tell what happened and you're going to tell what you did and done again and what was the result of the action. All right?
Oh, sorry. Okay, go back to the PowerPoint. Go back to the all right.
No, it doesn't load.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now,
You're not moving.
Disconnect. Disconnect. That's
From here.
I didn't touch the slide of it. Go click on the slide.
Right.
And another one. Tell me about your child that you place in the job and how you give up with. So you have to be in the right situation. You have to tell them what it is that you encountered, what you did, describe what happened, and record again, and what was the result of it. All right? And I think another question, what is the biggest weakness? Oh, yes.
So you can't continue from first.
That question, a lot of people in the past uses the new expressions, but
Disconnect.
so everybody knows that we're very enjoying the test, which is the next one. That, you know, because you are somebody specializing in details and all of that, so sometimes it makes you slow. Your body gets used to that. So you really have to be real. But what you have to do is to say what are the steps that you have taken to overcome that particular. So for example, somebody says, you know, she found that she sometimes, you know, don't allow others to a chance to speak, but she found that she's working on it, and you know, she's allowing others to. And so instead of being the first to speak, she allows somebody else to speak first. So something like that, we have to show that you are working on the issue. So yeah, I have an issue, I've worked on it, and this is the result. So people know you're not in a situation. All right, but everybody continue, because that's straight to some people, but it's, you know, trying to do this as that answers the shape and everybody and everybody thought that that's, you know, so anytime you want an interview and they're scoring you and you see faces that you're interested in what you're seeing, right? The moment you see people start kind of withdrawn and going through, then don't score everyone and people love that. Love that. And I was going to and scoring you and saying, and then they go for the next person. And I probably say, yeah, we have that you have a system for us. And there's lots of people say, thank you very much. And God, you don't score in my life because they are nowhere where you want it. Right? So you have to watch it. But that helps to really probably on and on. And watch it with your face and you take the cues from there. All right? And basically, I think that is that. And so I want to just find out if you have any questions. I know we have been dropping and chipping out, but right. And at the end of the interview, never forget to say thank you, still be courteous, and try to follow. All right, I'm not sure you have any questions. Anybody in the chat because we have no one that has been attacking. Anybody? If not,
Is there a chat here?
no questions. Well, I got a couple before. All right. So thank you very much, and I share with you that I actually recently employed the same skills, and I have changed jobs since January. I am now at a new organization, having employed some of the very same skills and stuff. So the process to get there was very little, but the guard has been great before, and you know, the guard has.
All right. So thanks, Leonie, for sharing. I trust that you are for life. All right. We're just going to say final word of prayer as we call this session for it. Also, guys, the video will be on the YouTube, so you can go back
to the part where they cut off.
We'll try to get part of it on the YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. Let's pray. Father, again, thank you for the opportunity that we had to come like this, meet one with the other, without physically or virtually. Lord, you see the challenges that we face, oh God, but nevertheless you are in this year. And Lord, we know that the enemy will never win. Lord, pray for your people wherever they are, that they may be comforted in knowing that the hand of God is always with them, or is always looking out for them. Lord, pray for those who are here, that you take us over safe. Lord, pray for those who are at home, that we can cover them by their blood. Pray for Lord, for your people all over the world right now, that they may really seek to serve you, honor you, glorify you for their lives. So that let your day come. Christ and you pray. Amen. All right, everyone, have a wonderful night. God bless you. Thank you, Aunty Leonie, and we are rushing out now to people 8 o'clock curfew today.